What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the Scarlet and Violet base set cards that you should look at getting slabbed up, especially if you're going around to any conventions or any place where you can buy cards like a local card shop or anything. These are cards that you do very much have the opportunity to make a lot of money, and if you can find a good copy of the card that you think can get a 10. In the 9, it won't do so as well, but since these cards' populations are so low in 10s because the Scarlet and Violet era at the beginning had a lot of print quality issues, so the 10s are hard to come by, there's a lot of profit to be made if you can visualize a 10 in the wild. So we're going to get started off here. We're going to go from the cheapest cards to the most expensive cards in the set with the Bombardier. This one, a PSA 10, we got 55 bucks, and on Card Market, TCG Player, it's about a $3 to $4 card, so it's a little over 10, 15 times your value right there. So, great card to pick up if you can find it in a 10. Only a population count of 31. So, if we do see some future fans of Bombardier having the first card that I believe for Bombardier in a PSA 10 with only 31 population count would be huge. Alright, our next card right here, we got the Scovillain. So, this one, $3 to $4 card again. PSA 10, it's $87. This one is a lot higher value than the other one. And this one, honestly, I love this card art. I like seeing the two heads fighting each other. The flaming grass type one I guess is getting burned by the firing type. I could be wrong there. I'm not too familiar with this Pokemon. I've only really seen it in Scarlet and Violet game. Besides that, I haven't played too many other recent games. But excited to play the ones coming out. But PSA 10, $87, we're all about $4. That's about 20 times your value right there. Great card to pick up and get graded if you see it in a 10. Cloth. This is another great one. $50, $4.09. Population count's only 21. Now, this Pokemon did have in the Scarlet and Violet game one of the, I forget exactly what they're called, like mythical beasts or something like that, on one of the quests that you do. So it does have some gameplay interest right there. That'll bring it a little bit more to the forefront of people's minds. Then we have Penny, another character that's in the Scarlet and Violet game. $4 card, $44. So it's about a 10 times. You get 10 times your money on this card if you do get in a 10 from getting it at Raw. And then we're moving on to the Sandile. This is a beautiful artwork. Love this one. It's sitting out of the sand like a flounder, just looking to pounce on the next prey that comes by. Surprisingly, with this one, though, the value isn't really there if these are correct prices, which I'm not 100% sure if they are because it does just seem odd to me. But $4 to $30 here, I would be looking to pick this one up in the 10 and not even looking to grade this one, as there's only 30 copies of it out there, and for 30 bucks, that's a steal. But you just got to be lucky, hoping people are selling it. If the price does go up, or you do see a copy that goes for a 10, I would take the risk because the population count is so low, and this is a very cool Pokemon. Alright, Gyarados is our next one. $4 to $7, up to a PSA 10 of 70, or 61.45. Great card if you can find it again. Full arts aren't the best cards in the world, but there's no illustration or special illustration rare Gyarados, even in the whole Scarlet and Violet era as a whole, until we find out what comes in Destined Rivals. So this could be the only Gyarados from this era if you did want to pick it up. And the population count is a lot better on this one, getting it graded as a 10. It's about 50-50 between that and a 9. Alright, then we're going to go on to the Hyper Rares, the Koraidon EX. This one's coming in at $41.33, and the raw value about $5. So this one about 8 times your money. It is a gold card, though. Great card to invest in if you want to hold it long term as well. So a lot of the kids growing up, this might be their first game. You either get Koraidon or Miraidon as your Pokemon to ride around on, and I bet they'll all love it when they get older. Have very fond memories of playing that game. Alright, then we got Palmot. Palmot is a $42 PSA 10, $4, $5 card. If you find this one at 10, it's great again. It's only about 8 times your value, so not as amazing as the other ones, but still pretty good value out there. Then we're moving on to the Toad School. Now, this one's a little ridiculous. This one goes for $250 recently in a PSA 10, and it's only a $5 card. That is literally 10, 20, 30, 50 times the value right there if you can get this one in a PSA 10. Crazy card to go and pick up and go searching for in a 10. Alright, then we got our Dolliv here. This one, $5 card, PSA 10, we're looking at $22. There's only 21 population of the PSA 10 count. So this one I would honestly be looking at that $22 value. About the same price to get your card graded with PSA is the price plus the card to get it in a 10. If you can guarantee a 10, just swoop all these bad boys up, you'll be running pretty. Then we're going to move on to the Scovit. This is a $5 card, going for $35 in a PSA 10, population of 33. It's a very low pop count again. This one's about in the middle. If you really like this Pokemon, I'll pick it up in a 10. But if not, you could try grading it. Maybe the price will go up in the future. Who knows? Mavistiff. This card goes with the Arven card that we're going to see a little bit later. He's in the background right there waiting on a sandwich. This is a $100 card in a PSA 10. It's only $5. So another absolutely great one to pick up that you can 20 times your value. The Clauncher. This one is amazing as well. At 30 times your value, a $5 card that goes for $150. And it's even dropped, so it's not even at the all-time high of 175. So it's even like 35% or 35 times the amount of value by getting this one graded in a 10. Alright, then we're going to move on to Jock. So unfortunately with a lot of the supporter cards, these ones do not do as well. Only getting 5 times the value. It is 1-to-1, even ratio of 10s to 9s almost. But if you really like this card, I would just pick it up in a 10. Don't risk just going through all the hassle of getting a 9. Alright, Iron Treads EX. With this one, $5 to $55. The population count of this one, because it is a SIR, is a lot closer compared to the IRs. It's 444 to 427. It did come down from an all-time high of $76. So this, I wouldn't mind picking these up, especially because they are more likely to be graded in a 10, and it is an SIR. I know it was easier to pull back then. You can get about 2 per booster box, and now it's like 1 SIR every other booster box, but still a great card and an SIR if anyone's ever going for all the SIRs in SV era. Alright, then we have the Penny. This one is actually one of the good trainer cards that you can get graded in a 10 because it goes the whole way up from $6 to about $50, which is comparable to some of the Pokemon we were looking at earlier. I don't think trainers are as sought after, so I would definitely choose Pokemon over a trainer any day, but if you really like Penny, here's a good one to pick up. Spidops EX. So this is honestly one of my favorite SIRs in the entire Scarlet and Violet era. It's a $6 card, so you can pick it up for super cheap raw. I would recommend doing that and get it graded at 10, almost a 50-50 rate. And it comes with the Tarantula that is more expensive as an IR just because of how many IRs they are. But they're connecting cards with that Scyther in the middle. I just think it's a beautiful look and beautiful cards to add to your collection. Especially if you can get these, if you know your Tarantula is also going to be a 10, which is the harder one to get. If you get that in sequential sequence graded at PSA or wherever you go to, that would be a great boost to these cards. Because there's only 271 of these, and we'll see how many Tarantulas there are in a second. But I don't think there's that many. Probably less than 100 if I would guess. Alright, next round to the Wiglet. 57 population count compared to 240. Hard to grade as a 10. Gotta have that good eye for it. But as PSA 10, it comes out to $160 compared to only $6 to $7. So some great profit to make there. Then we got the Professor's Research, another trainer card. This one I'll pass on as well, unless you really like this trainer. Rhydon EX. This is a $6 card going up to 40 in a PSA 10. If you can find it for a deal, maybe talk someone down in a card show to like 35 or something. That'll be a great pickup there. But if not, see if you can get it graded as a 10. It is a little bit over 50-50 chance to get it as a 10 compared to a 9. King Gambit. So this one is pretty nuts. It goes from a $6 to $7 card the whole way up to a $218 card. Now, there is the King Gambit SIR that also, yeah, I think it might be SIR actually, because I believe it's texture, but I could be wrong, and it might just be an IR that comes in the Shrouded Fable special box, so a lot of people might already have a King Gambit card. I don't think it's too popular for Pokemon, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, this King Gambit, if you get it at 10, great value. Alright, moving on to the Starly. So this one, I think something's just wrong with the charts. I love this card. I love Starly. A lot of people that grew up playing Diamond and Pearl as their first games are starting to come into their adulthood now, and they're getting money for the first time in their lives and able to buy cards and stuff like this that they like. And I just don't understand why Starly is not more popular. Or is not more expensive than $18 in a 10. If it's $18 in a 10, swoop every single one of these copies up. I might even try to go for some of them, but I just think something's off here. It's probably a little more expensive, probably about $100 card in a PSA 10. And that's where you can look at it to make your profit, getting it graded. But if that's the actual price in a 10, go and pick that up. Alright, Arcanine EX. So this one, a little easier grade, just like the Gyarados full art from earlier. $6 card is $62, so it is a good 10 value right there. Is a full art, so they're not as sought after, but it's Arcanine. There's no Arcanine full or Arcanine SIRs or IRs, no Scarlet Violet Era. That's another good card to pick up. Tarantula, not sure if I'm saying it right. But this one goes from $6 to $60, and the population count, I was guessing 100, there's only 12. So if you get that sequential with Spidops, having that Scyther in the middle, that is a great pickup. And if you just get this one alone, $60 from $6, that's a great come up right there. Alright, the Miriam. So this one is actually a decent card to get graded as well, $7 to $57. Don't love the trainers, but if you like them and that's your cup of tea, go after it. Rare Candy. So this, the hyper rares, the items, I would not get graded. If you want to buy them, you can buy them straight up, but it's just a tough chance. Alright, then we got Jock. With Jock here, he's an $8 card, up to 36 in the PSA 10. Same thing with the other trainers. If you like Jock, get him. If not, skip out. Dozo. Alright, this one, $9 to $11. Card market's $14.71, but in a PSA 10, it's over $359.99. Only, let's see, 9, it doesn't, I just want to make sure that's right too. 10, yeah, no auction, someone just bought it straight up. So that might be an outlier. That might not be exactly correct. But, hey, if you're selling this at a place and you want to look at past values to value a card, this is what you're seeing. So, try it, see what happens. Who knows? Another SIR here, the Great Tusk UX. This one goes from about $10 card up to a $90 card. Does PSA 10 at a very high rate. So this is one I would look to get graded. Pachirisu. This one goes from $10 to $110. Population of 115 to 254. So it is a lot easier than the other IRs to get in a 10. Just a very good looking card as well. Great card art right there on Pachirisu. Fudu. This one from $10 to $189. It's only a population of 89. And this is a great looking card too. If you get this one in a 10, scoop it up. Almost 20 times your value right there. Griever. This is one of the coolest cards in the set. Who doesn't love dogs? And especially like all the toys that are ghost Pokemon all around him. Very, very cool image right there. Goes from $10 to about $200 in a 10, and it's down from its all-time high of $300. So it could have some room to improve too. Love that card. Arvin. So now we're getting into some more trainers. If you like the trainer, pick them up. Not skip them. Nestball, same thing with these hyper rares. The PSA 10 value, honestly, I don't really see this going up too much. No one really likes the gold cards, unfortunately. I like them, but just the general population doesn't seem to value them as much. Alright, then we got the Ivan SIR. So this card is a little more interesting because it goes with that Mabostiff that's sitting right down there if you look at his IR from earlier. And you can get him sequential. That would be pretty cool to get 2 10s like that. It is a little harder to grade, but it'd be pretty cool to add to a set. Alright, then we got the Armor Rogue. It's a $15 card going for about $400 if you get it in a PSA 10. One of the top hitters in this set. $400. This is a great card to pick up if you have a good eye for spotting it. It's 1 out of every 7 or 8 is going to get a 10. Alright, Koraidon EX, another SIR right here. So this one, $16 to $110 in a PSA 10. Very good value right there, and I also think this is a great card to hold on to for the future. There's a lot of kids, same thing with Miraidon that we're looking at right now, playing these games, and these are the first Pokemon they got the rider out on, and they had it with them their whole adventure. And they're just going to want to have that card, especially if they can get it at 10 or even just raw. Great card to have. And this one goes from $22 to $140. So, pretty similar. I'd probably see the Koraidon a little better value if you get it about 16. If you get this one for 20, maybe the Miraidon. But both great cards. Just depends if you played Scarlet or Violet. Alright, then we got the Slowpoke. About $23 card that in a 10 is about $406.75. Down from its all-time high of $526. This Slowpoke, it's a Generation 1 Pokemon. Beautiful art. I love the card. this is a great card that I would love to pick up, and I kind of just want to pick up a raw copy just to add to my binder. All right, this Riolu right here. This goes from $25 up to $214. Great card to pick up. Riolu, fan favorite Pokemon. Has a Lucario in the background right there. Yeah, just great value. It's not as good as some of the other ones, but great value, and it's a very popular card. All right, the Miriam here. This is probably one of the best SIRs that they have in the set. Still, though, not of the trainers. Still not loving the price range. $26 for a card, $118. It's decent, but it's nowhere near the Pokemon. I just think Pokemon are better. And there's so many copies in the 10. Alright, so now we're going to get to our hard hitters here. The Curlia. About $27, $30 card. Goes for $255 in a PSA 10. It's a great card, especially if you get them in sequential order with the routes and the Gardevoir. These three together, because the Gardevoir is 50-50 chance of grade, so if you can find one that you know you can 10, the Curlia and the routes are pretty tough to grade as a 10. So if you would somehow get them all three as a sequential 10, I was looking it up the other day. They have some in Japanese, but none in English that I could find online on eBay. It would be a great pickup. $308 from $30, $30 to $255, and $51 to $188. So let's go 50 plus 30 is 80, plus 30, 110, into 310, 565, and let's just go 200. So 765, let's round it up. This could be like $900 when you're investing $110 if you get a sequential 10. And if you don't, you still have those great profits, the 4 times, the 10 times, and the close to like 8 times. Alright, and then we're going to look at one of the hardest hitters in the set, the Drowsy, the card that people were freaking out about. Now this one saw some crazy run, and then it fell off. But hey, it's nice to know the card sold at that price at one point, because you know it could always get back there. So $756 was the top of the market. It came back down to $476. Right now the card's going for $34 to $45. So still a great pickup if you can get it into 10. Beautiful card, great artwork. People love the artist. Nothing wrong with this Drowsy. Alright, I want to thank everyone for watching the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. What card do you think you're picking up today? Have a good one. Peace.